What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the Revival telling all about their time in the WWE and why they left, AEW fined $10,000, Triple H unloads WWE stock, a big change for heavy machinery, Tony Khan reveals why no one has been released at AEW, Nikki reveals which diva called her fat, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Hit the intro. Now our first story looks at AEW being fined $10,000. All Elite Wrestling has agreed to pay a $10,000 fine due to it violating the Maryland State Athletic Commission's rules concerning blood in professional wrestling matches. Part of the consent decree, which is a legal agreement between two parties entered into rather than pursuing legal action, was published at WrestleZone and reads, during a match between licensed wrestlers Jonathan Good and Tyson Smith, both Mr. Good and Mr. Smith suffered lacerations which caused blood to be introduced into the ring. Upon review of the matter, the commission determined that administrative charges against the respondent were appropriate for alleged violations of Maryland law pertaining to wrestling contests and related regulations. Now you may recall AEW's 9th November pay-per-view Full Gear, as it featured a violent and bloody unsanctioned match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. Former WCW announcer Chris Cruz contacted Maryland State Athletic Commission and inquired why there was no action taken, as Maryland has a no-blood policy for wrestling. What do you think about this fine? Was it unwise for AEW to run a match with the likelihood of blood in a state such as Maryland? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, why the Revival left the WWE. Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood wrestled in the WWE as Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson of the Revival, but those days are thankfully behind them, and they're now working as the Revolt. During an appearance on the Talk is Jericho podcast, they shared a number of stories about what led them requesting their releases. According to them, they requested their releases just 15 months into their main roster run. This was around January 2019, and at the time they thought they would receive it. That didn't happen, and as reported, the talented team were offered a reported $700,000 each per year to stay. However, that's not the figure. The duo stated it was a lot more, and Dex remarked,
I don't know if they actually wanted us, I just think that the threat of us leaving when there was another company that's getting a lot of
press, focus, buzz.
Yeah, a lot of buzz, a lot of press. They didn't want that. I think they knew that there was opportunity for us outside of the WWE, and I think they just wanted to keep us away from that opportunity.
A strong argument can be made that there were a number of acts who were offered large contracts just to keep them away from the competition. However, the Revival refused to go along. They expressed repeated frustrations at how the tag team division was booked and that the teams were devalued, as were the tag team titles. Wheeler told Jericho,
and that's when we asked, because we wanted to make a point, like, hey, we know things are going decent for us. They're going well, all things considered, but we're not happy. Like, the tag team titles, they don't really mean anything. Like, this has nothing against Braun. I think Braun's a great guy. I get along with him really well. But, like, he had steamrolled the entire tag team division, and then a 10-year-old or whatever won the tag titles at WrestleMania.
The WWE has a number of fantastic teams for years, but history shows tag teams are a distant second to single stars, and while the WWE can make considerable bank off hot acts like the New Day, there's no denying where tag teams rank in the WWE hierarchy. Dax would note the Revival's 2019 request for the release was made in order for the WWE to evaluate its entire tag team division. When the release wasn't granted, Dax claims they did their best to evaluate the tag division with their matches.
I think we knew underneath it all that there was never going to be a real push for real tag teams. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but if you are in the tag team division and you're two singles guys thrown together, you got a much better chance of being featured than you do if you're a standard tag team that look the same, that work the same.
One of the most intriguing portions of their interview concerns Brett congratulating them after they exited the WWE.
Yeah, man. And the day that we were granted our release, that day I got a text message from Bret Hart. And
wow.
he told me how proud he was. He said, he asked me to send it to Daniel, which I did. He told me how proud he was of us and how proud he was that we stood up for ourselves and stood up for what we believed in, because it would have been so easy to just sit back and collect the money.
It's an interesting scenario because while the Revival could have ended up with a big money contract, they stuck to their guns and went with their release. Do you think the Revolt made the right decision? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Nikki believes WWE ignored a neck injury because she's a woman. Nikki and Brie Bella's co-memoir Incomparable is out, and we've already heard some interesting anecdotes from the originators of Twin Magic. One story coming out is how Nikki struggled to get medical treatment for an injured neck after she hurt it in a 2015 match. According to Nikki, she began experiencing symptoms such as her legs going numb, and she realized something serious was going on. In a situation reminiscent of CM Punk's alleged battles with WWE doctors, Nikki recalls going to the doctor because her hands were feeling numb and being told that she was just tired and run down because of the abuse she was putting her body through. In what sounds like she was getting the runaround, Bella explained that she requested an MRI but was told it wouldn't show anything. She finally texted the WWE's office saying, "Is it because I'm a woman and that I don't get the same treatment as male superstars?" Nikki said she went back home to Tampa to get an epidural and was told that she was on the cusp of being paralyzed. She added, "I was really frustrated. I felt if I were a male superstar, I'd be getting radically different treatment instead of being instructed to just sit at home and pray." It's a shocking story, but nothing new for anyone who has followed the careers of former WWE superstars who claim they were rushed back into the ring or forced to seek outside medical care. Next up, Heavy Machinery No More. It looks like the big man babyface team of Otis and Tucker could be going their separate ways. Ringside News is reporting that Otis is a single now. He might be in a relationship with Mandy Rose on WWE television, but he is a singles performer. The Heavy Machinery tag team appears to be over. Now we've heard that the WWE is planning on giving Otis a strong push, but we hope Tucker doesn't get lost along the way. Both men are talented big men and have lots to offer in the ring. Next up, Tony Khan explains why AEW hasn't released anyone. The current health crisis has led to many people finding themselves out of work, including a number of WWE superstars and WWE staffers. However, All Elite Wrestling hasn't released anyone yet, despite AEW President Tony Khan claiming the promotion has lost millions due to not being able to run live events. Speaking on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, Khan explained, "We've lost millions and millions of dollars in live events. I don't take it lightly, but I can't take it out on the people that work here because it's not their fault. We've really not let anybody go here as a company, and look, I'm gonna be honest, there's gonna come a day where we're gonna have to, but now is not the time. This is a hard time for everybody, it's a hard time for us, but I have to look at the bigger picture. In the big picture, we're in such good shape. We're the second healthiest wrestling company in the world, and that's a really great place to be, and we haven't let a single person go to do it. AEW isn't the only major promotion that has kept its wrestlers, as New Japan Pro Wrestling hasn't released any wrestlers, and the WWE has been scrutinized for letting people go or laying them off at a time when the company posted a profit." Next up, did Sonny call Nikki Bella fat? One of the latest revelations from Brie and Nikki Bella's co-memoir Incomparable is that the WWE Hall of Famer Sonny once called her out on social media. Nikki details in her book how, when Brie and I made it to the main stage, she wrote a Facebook post about how she thought I was fat. She wrote, "There's no excuse for any of those girls in their early 20s to get a little chubby. Wait until they hit 35 and everything slows the F down. Then what? They are getting paid to look a certain way." The good news is that Nikki says Sonny apologized to her at Sonny's induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. Nikki said that Sonny's remarks mirrored the corporate structure of the time where women would be called into the office if they gained weight. And finally, Triple H sells WWE stock. It looks like Triple H added some quick cash to his portfolio, as Wrestling Inc. is reporting that Executive Vice President of Global Talent Strategy and Development Triple H unloaded several thousand shares of Class A common stock earlier this week. Triple H sold 23,255 shares of the company stock at $43.80 per share for approximately $1,018,569. Don't worry about the game, as the article notes he still has 144,646 shares to play with. But there you have it guys, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.